Hello, this is Algebra 2. We're in Chapter 8, Section 2. This is page 3 of the notes, and we are making a even more general function here we're supposed to graph. Y equals ax plus b over cx plus d. Let's see what we can do. So first of all, we have this example. Y equals 4x minus 2 divided by x minus 1. We have to state the domain in the range. First of all, draw the asymptotes. Fair enough. It says solve x minus 1 equals 0 for x. And the reason why is because that's the denominator. So that's pretty much it. So x equals 1. You solve, add 1 to both sides. X equals 1. There. Looks like a fancy one. So x equals 1 is easy enough to draw. Vertical asymptote. Boom. Okay. Now for the horizontal asymptote, it says y equals a over c. What that means is they're the coefficients of x in the original equation. So in this case, we're talking about 4 divided by 1. And that's 4. Boom. So the vertical asymptote, the horizontal asymptote is at 4. Boom. It says plot points to the left and the right. So stick in some numbers and see what comes out, right? So negative 1, if you stick negative 1 in, the numerator becomes negative 6. The denominator becomes negative 2, and you end up with 3. So negative 1 comma 3. So negative 1 comma 1, 2, 3 dot. If you substitute in 0, the numerator becomes negative 2, the denominator becomes negative 1, and you end up with positive 2. So 0 comma 2. Boom. And it says suggest some points to the right also. Okay, so substitute in 2, and the numerator becomes 6, the denominator becomes 1, so you have the point 2 comma 6. Easy enough. Boom. And 3 comma something. Right? So substitute in 3. You get 12 minus 2, 10 on top. And you get 3 minus 1, which is 2 on the bottom. 10 over 2, 5. Should have the point 3 comma 5. Boom. And draw the branches. Well, easy enough to do. Shoom. Feel the wind as the branch is drawn. Throw some arrows on the end. Oh, those last arrows are terrible. Let me make it a little bit better. Boom. The domain is, now here you need to look at the asymptote. So this gets a little bit trickier. Let's see, for the domain, you can't use the vertical asymptote. And that vertical asymptote is at 1. So the domain is all the x numbers except for 1. Boom. And for the range, look at that horizontal asymptote, because you're not going to hit that asymptote. That asymptote was up at 4. So you're going to hit all the y values except for 4. There you go. That's all there is to this. Now let's look at checkpoint. Last bit of business here. Okay. I'm going to wait. I suggest you pause it and try number 2 at least, even if you don't want to do both of them at once. But try number 2 on your own, then unpause it, check your own work. Okay, welcome back. Here is the answer for number 2. The graph got shifted to the right 2. That's because of these parentheses here in the denominator. And so the asymptote is at x equals 2. The graph was also shifted up 1. So your horizontal asymptote is y equals 1. Plotting some points is a little bit tricky. Finding the x values that are going to look nice, kind of tricky. You're welcome, of course, to substitute in x's that don't come out nice and pretty. In fact, you might want to just to not worry about it too much, but then you probably want to substitute in more than 2x values on each branch. But these are the ones that work out really nice. 1 ends up at -2, -1 ends up at 0, 3 ends up at 4, 5 ends up at 2, etc. And then you can draw your branches. The domain is all the numbers except for 2. The range is all the numbers except for 1. Now look at number 3. I'm going to give you a few seconds to pause this. See if you can try something on number 3 here. It's a little more complicated than number 2, which was itself more complicated than number 1 back earlier. But try something yourself. Okay, so this is the graph here. The asymptotes are the first order of business. Now you want to make the denominator 0 in order to get your new vertical asymptote. So x equals -2 comes from making the denominator equal to 0. For the horizontal asymptote, remember, you've got to worry about the ratio of the x coefficients. So -2 divided by -1 is +2, and so that's why you get y equals 2 as your horizontal asymptote. Alright, now that's all well and good. The points are just an annoyance to try to come up with that come out as nice points. I plotted the 4 that come out nice and as integers, but really at this point you might want to just make a t-chart of lots of point values and then plot them up and then make the graph that connects them. I haven't yet put the domain in here, so I'll do that really fast. The domain is all the x's that are not equal to -2, because that's that vertical asymptote. Similarly, the range is all the y's that are not equal to 2, because that was the horizontal asymptote. That's all for page 3. That's all for the notes for section 2. Thank you for watching.